What are community cats? Community cats is a term used to describe outdoor, unowned, free-roaming cats. These cats can be friendly, feral, adults, kittens, healthy, sick, altered, and/or unaltered. They may or may not have a caretaker. They are part of the domestic cat species, Felis catus, just like indoor cats. These cats thrive and maintain good health while living with their feline groups or colonies in their outdoor habitats. A community cat is a cat that does not have a specific owner but is recognized and collectively taken care of by the local residents. How to live with community cats. Like wild animals that live within our neighborhoods, community cats naturally seek out places with food and shelter and are adept at finding these resources on their own. If they appear to be healthy and thriving within the natural environment, it's best not to bring community cats to animal shelters. How to manage community cats. A more humane approach to managing community cats is to trap, neuter, vaccinate, return community cats to their outdoor home where they are thriving.
The trap has a mechanism on it that you have to set in order for it to actually release and trap the cat inside of it. So what you have to do if you're using one of our traps is you have to push this lever down and then lift this silver piece up. And as you lift it up, you will notice that there's a little hook at the top of the trap that goes under a latch. And you have to hook the little hook under the latch. And that's what keeps the trap door up. So once the trap door is up like this, what happens is as the cat goes into the trap, there's a foot pad down here that they step on. And once they step on the pad, the trap door comes down. We recommend that you put newspaper in the bottom of the trap so it covers the foot pad. And what we suggest that you do is get some kind of stinky food. Sardines, tuna fish, anything that has a pretty strong odor. You put it in the back of the trap. And the way that it works best is if you set the trap with the food in it and you just tie the door up without it being latched so that the trap door won't come down, and then the cat can go inside the trap, eat the food, and go out. And if you do that a couple of times and then actually set it so the door goes down, the cat's more likely to go in and you're more likely to trap it. Once you get it home, we recommend that you cover the trap with a blanket or a sheet so that the cat is protected, because a feral cat is going to be very stressed out being in this kind of a trap, and if you cover it, it calms them down.
In a TNVAR program, community cats are humanely trapped, taken to a veterinarian for spaying or neutering, vaccinated, ear-tipped for easy identification, and then returned to their original outdoor homes. This approach helps control the cat population, reduces health risks, and enhances their overall well-being. TNVR not only improves the lives of cats, but also offers a humane, effective, and cooperative way for communities to live alongside them. Community cats in shelters. Shelters are designed for adoptable cats. By definition, most community cats are unadoptable. Feral cats have almost always a 100% euthanasia rate. 70% of all cats that enter animal shelters are euthanized. What can I do about a stray or nuisance cats? If the cat is a stray, check for the following points. Is it sick or injured? If not, then it is a healthy stray. Does it have any ID, such as a collar, tag, microchip, ear tip, or tattoo? Have you spoken to your neighbors about any of them missing a pet? Check with your neighbors to determine if the cats are owned, abandoned, or feral, and whether they are spayed or neutered. If a community cat appears to be unowned and not spayed or neutered, a sure sign is if it has no visible ear tip. If you do find a stray, consider the following. File a find report. Make found poster and hang them throughout the neighborhood. Speak with your mail carriers and delivery drivers. Talk to your neighbors and ask them to pass the information along. Ask them to keep an eye on the cat while they look for the owner. Offer to give them a litter bag, food, and other supplies. And call the local vet with all the information you have. Identifying a lost pet. There are several ways of identifying a lost pet. These include the following. Is the cat wearing a collar? Does the cat have a microchip? Is the cat known to be or has recently been abandoned by its owner? For example, if the neighbors report that the owner has moved away and the cat is now hanging out in the apartment building trying to get in. If it is obvious the cat has no survival skills for living outdoors. Or if the cat is declawed. If there is a nuisance cat, consider the following. Use non-toxic deterrents around your yard. Ensure your garbage cans have tight-fitting lids. Trim overgrown bushes and shrubs and remove any places where cats can hide. Seal any gaps in the foundation of sheds and porches. Feed your pets indoors or establish a set feeding time outside. Avoid leaving food outside. Like all animals, community cats are protected by animal anti-cruelty laws. Violating these laws can result in a fine or prison time. Definition of community cat care. Community cat care refers to efforts made by community members to eradicate stray cats through such means as surgical sterilization and finding adoption families. Stray cats that are managed under this care system are called community cats. While the precise definition of community cats and cat care activities varies depending on local municipalities, regions, and organizations, the following issues are of concern. Control of stray cats. In order to accomplish its ultimate goal of ending stray cats, the community cat care activity conducts population management by sterilizing and recruiting those willing to adopt them.
The process for desexing is really quick and easy for both males and females. For males, you're looking at about 15 minutes, for females maybe 20 minutes, and within an hour they're all up and about and they're recovered fairly quickly. Pain relief is involved in the process, so that makes the recovery even quicker.
To this end, the method of TNR, trapping the cats, neutering and spaying them and returning them to their original habitat, is employed to prevent the breeding of stray cats. Some municipalities subsidize the cost of spaying and neutering surgeries. Cats that have undergone such surgery are marked with a V-shaped cut in one of their ears. Because their ears resemble cherry blossom petals, the treated cats are also called sakura, cherry blossom cats. Generally, females receive a cut on their left ear, while males have it on their right ear. Being placed under local management to control the population size, these cats spend their entire lives within that community. Concurrently, it is mandatory to raise awareness that abandoning animals, including cats, is prohibited by the Animal Welfare and Management Law, and efforts should be made to prevent the increase of new stray cats. Prevention of conflicts with local residents. Public sanitation. In addition to providing food and water for cats, disposing of their waste, and preventing them from scavenging through trash, it is necessary to take measures against damage caused by birds, pests, and rodents due to inadequate disposal of leftover food, as well as against cat allergies and zoonotic diseases such as toxoplasmosis, which can pose a danger to residents. Excrement damages. Community members need to install toilets and handle waste. Cat food. It is necessary to designate and enforce specific times for feeding and cleaning leftovers for cats that are neutered or scheduled to be neutered. In particular, continuing to provide food will lead to an endless influx of cats, thus rendering the efforts to reduce the number of stray cats futile. Intrusion into human living area. Cats may intrude into private yards and cause damage to gardening and agricultural crops through defecation and other harmful behavior. Also, stray cats may attack house pets. Getting support from local residents. Unlike dogs, there are no provisions such as leashing requirements or a registration system based on the rabies prevention law. If the government disposes of owned cats without permission, it may be charged with crimes such as theft, embezzlement of lost property, and property damage. It may even be possible to be sued for damage claims based on civil law and held accountable for the illegal actions. Given the varying perspectives and circumstances among local residents, the community cat initiatives must facilitate a mutual understanding that it concerns all individuals in the community. The importance of thorough spaying and neutering procedures should not be underestimated. Challenges. The term community cats and the achievements of the care activity are the only ones being focused upon, and it is noted that this focus may lead to self-satisfaction for those who like cats, especially when it comes to feeding them. There have been reported cases of individuals who are unable to care for the cat, pushing those responsibilities onto the local community and its residents. There have also been cases where community cat programs proceed without agreements between proponents and opponents, leading to regional conflicts. Simply providing food may not be considered community cat activity if understanding from residents is not achieved or if there is a lack of management efforts. Moreover, changes in the composition of the community may lead to conflicts arising from differences in perception. In some cases, there may also be instances of abuse by individuals who oppose community cat activities. It has been pointed out that some municipalities are forced to euthanize cats, that budget and personnel are limited, and that a boardroom situation arises between those who wish to dispose of the cats and those who wish to keep them alive. Abandoned cats. Community cat activities face the risk of collapse when the fundamental goal of controlling the number of cats to a level acceptable to residents is not understood. If cats continue to be abandoned from nearby areas and the cat population becomes uncontrollable, the entire initiative may break down. Persecution of community cats. Instances of cruelty or abuse towards community cats, including cases where individuals set traps on their premises, may be considered crimes and addressed officially. Specific cases include suspected deaths by poisoning and rescued cats with injured legs caused by such illegal devices as steel jaw traps. Accuracy of the investigation results. A 2008 survey found no direct impact of the local government's support for community cat care on the fluctuation in the number of adopted and euthanized cats. However, the report points out that many municipalities have only recently begun their involvement since 2004, and this relatively short duration must be considered. Community cat programs are proven to humanely and sustainably reduce the population of stray cats in urban areas. By collaborating with communities to manage their cat populations and protect native wildlife, without resorting to euthanasia, these innovative programs tackle the causes and consequences of overpopulation, while protecting cherished human-animal bonds. We cannot adopt or kill our way out of a stray cat problem. Since 2020, the Australian Pet Welfare Foundation has piloted innovative approaches to the management of strays within communities with high numbers of cat complaints. With standard interventions failing to halt the cycle of breeding, impoundment, and euthanasia, and failing to achieve a meaningful reduction in the number of stray cats, the team initiated a transformational program of research. Despite some council-operated pounds euthanizing every single stray cat and kitten brought into their care, overall numbers are not decreasing. Instead, shelters, rescues, and pounds are crowded with lost and homeless pets, staff involved in euthanizing, and community members who care for their animals are traumatized, and the public purse carries the financial burden. The solution: community cat programs. Community cat programs target areas with many free-roaming cats or high levels of nuisance complaints, particularly in disadvantaged locations. Dedicated teams work in partnership with the local community, council, and shelters to introduce pragmatic care solutions and build community awareness about caring for neighborhood cats. Owned and stray cats are desexed, microchipped, and registered for free. People caring for stray cats are assisted to adopt them officially. New homes are found for friendly stray cats and kittens where possible. Instead of being euthanized, healthy strays that aren't considered adoptable, for example, they're fearful of people at the shelter, so they are desexed and returned to where they live. This is called return to field. People caring for multiple stray cats, which is often technically illegal, are supported to continue caring for them. A carer is identified for each stray/community cat to continue feeding and monitoring their health. Support is provided to pet owners and community carers to help keep cats safe, healthy, and with their human companions. Teams help residents tackle pet-related neighborhood conflict and resolve nuisance issues in a constructive way. Over a 1 to 3 year period, this innovative approach yielded a 30 to 50% reduction in cat impoundments across targeted areas, numbers that continue to fall in successive months and years. The program also has significant flow-on benefits. Over time, with no new litters being born, the cat population naturally declines. Fewer stray cats mean less wildlife predation. Reducing the number of stray cats in pounds and shelters frees up more resources to care for and rehome dogs. Job satisfaction and mental health of staff in pounds and shelters are positively impacted due to reductions in unnecessary euthanasia. Mandatory, punitive containment laws are cat-killing laws.
We did an upper house inquiry and we heard that these killing programs actually do nothing to protect wildlife and reduce the number of homeless cats in the long term. We had advice even from the RSPCA that there are better and more humane solutions around desexing and educating people to keep their cats inside. Despite that, this bill was put forward by the Greens knowing that thousands of cats would be killed.
It is not compulsory for animal rescue organizations to become designated rehoming organizations to continue their work rehoming animals. The Australian Pet Welfare Foundation submission to the Inquiry Management of Cat Populations (NSW) has said, for semi-owned and unowned cats at sites with multiple cats or colonies, management involves working with the carers and trapping, desexing, and then returning semi-owned cats to their carer to continue to support them ITNR. As soon as possible, friendly cats and kittens are transferred to rescuers, foster carers, or permanent homes, or to other target rescue groups and rehoming organizations, or even to groups intrastate or interstate if they have capacity. Priority is generally given to highly sociable cats, heavily pregnant cats, kittens, and sight or hearing impaired cats. Caretakers typically provide food twice daily, shelter, and monitoring of the cats. When done strategically and sustainably, these programs stabilize and reduce populations over time. The CPS NSW, Hearing for NSW Inquiry Management of Cat Populations in NSW stated, Everything becomes better with an early intervention of vaccination and desexing. LT becomes more manageable, and the people who are doing that caring work have better mental health. They're using their own money, their own car, and their own time. They might be the pensioner that I mentioned before, but a lot of them are working as well. LT's hard work, and they're doing this because they can't take away. They see what is there, and they see themselves as needing to help. I think that councils can recognize that, respect it, and work with those people. Wires, at the hearing for NSW Inquiry Management of Cat Populations in NSW replied, "Focus is on the most humane way, so we can protect both species. Most people who care about cats also care about wildlife, and vice versa. Wires has a welfare-focused approach for all animals, and we see this, high intensity, desexing, as the most welfare-centered approach. The RSPCA NSW, at the hearing for NSW Inquiry Management of Cat Populations in NSW, made the statement, "Our approach to cat management is holistic, humane, and evidence-based. Fund statewide targeted cat desexing programs, the only method of cat population management that has proven to work. Encourage voluntary cat containment, not mandating. Tariff the road of councils in managing unowned cats. Invest in more humane and evidence-based methods of feral cat management." Key details on RSPCA NSW euthanasia. A significant number of animals, often over 90% of those entering their care, are euthanized by RSPCA NSW. Primary reasons. The majority of these euthanasia events are due to behavioral or medical reasons. Concern for healthy animals. There is concern that happy and healthy animals are being euthanized by the RSPCA. Some of the most accessible reports are from RSPCA Australia, which provide national statistics but don't break down NSW figures in detail. Detailed statistics are sometimes found in submissions to parliamentary inquiries, such as the one mentioned in 2024. The RSPCA's annual statistics reports contain information, but they are not always published in an easily digestible format for the public. The RSPCA received 33,747 cats in 2022-23, which is 38.58% of all animals. The proportion of cats who were reclaimed by their owners this year decreased compared to the previous year to 5.98%, 1,990 cats. One measure that is used for monitoring shelter outcomes over time is the live release rate, LRR. The LRR is the percentage of cats who were rehomed, reclaimed by their owner, or transferred to a rescue group or other non-RSPCA facility as a percentage of the total number of cats received, not including those currently in care or categorized as other, for the 2022-23 financial year. The 2022-23 live release rate for cats and kittens was 87.37%.
Since their introduction, cats have been the primary culprit, or one of the primary culprits, in the extinctions of at least 20 species of mammals. They're still causing ongoing declines today, so we've estimated that cats, both ferals and pets together, are killing over 2 billion native vertebrates.
We recently just handed down our report from the Upper House Inquiry into Cat Management, so this came out this week. And of course, the recommendations in this report are very strong. It recommends against mandatory punitive cat containment laws. Now, let's be honest, cat containment laws are simply cat killing laws. We heard inquiry that these containment laws are going to significantly increase the cost to councils. they're going to, of course, then have significant increasing costs to ratepayers as well through those council costs. We had another inquiry into the pound crisis in New South Wales, and we heard in that inquiry that pounds are already over capacity. If these containment laws come in, councils will be required to go and collect all cats, and then of course, there's nowhere in these pounds to actually house those cats. We've seen cat containment laws in other states significantly increase the euthanasia rates. And so we're very concerned that if the government changes the law here, we're going to see significant increases in euthanasia rates as well. We also had another inquiry into the veterinary shortage and the stress and the strain that vets are put under to kill these healthy, rehomable animals. Again, that's another major problem with introducing mandatory cat containment laws. We also heard about the conflict within our rental laws, the fact that it's going to disproportionately affect people of lower incomes and First Nations communities. It's going to make it more difficult for people to leave violent relationships if they've got animals as well. These laws are hugely problematic, and New South Wales is certainly not in a position right now. At the moment, we're still trying to update the pet registry. Rescue groups don't have proper access to the pet registry system.
Is the Federal Environment Minister actually encouraging cruelty towards cats? I, for one, am sick of ministers who are failing to do their portfolio and blaming animals and using them as a scapegoat instead. What are you doing to stop native forest logging, Tanya? What are you doing to stop climate change, Tanya? Oh, nothing, because that means taking on powerful lobby groups that you don't want to have to deal with. So let's blame animals instead and spend millions of taxpayers' money towards systems that we know won't work and will cause huge amounts of cruelty to animals. And by the way, Tanya, 1080 poison causes an animal to suffer for up to 72 hours before death with vomiting and seizures. It is cruel and it's inhumane, and it's why it's banned almost everywhere else in the world. Let's start working towards solutions to help our native animals instead of blaming other animals and doing huge killing sprees.
Are we getting 10 out of 10 for all of those categories? We've just published a paper, which was the last data before COVID, which showed that 33% of cats and kittens that entered pounds and shelters across Australia never left alive. And the worst quarter of councils that managed their own pounds in Victoria and New South Wales killed 67 to 100% of cats if they were taking more than 50 cats a year in. And most are young, most are healthy, and most are labelled strays in the shelter data. Well, that's not a 10 out of 10. As far as the impact on people, there is now extensive research in the literature documenting the negative effect on the mental health of people involved with killing animals.
Help us make history. Research is slow, complicated, and expensive, but it's fundamental to change. With your support, we can transform the lives of animals and the people who care for and about them. People who want to help animals live well, not die.